Aloha, this is Santa Surfing. Welcome to Beach Broadcast. Today is Friday, June 6th, 2025. Can you believe it? I've had 6 podcasts in a row. I'm on a roll, guys. I'm taking a lot of stuff. The JUVENT machine is really helping me, and also the paint absolve and many, many other things. So it's wonderful. We did have winners for the YouTube contest. The only person that we need to hear from is this person right here. We had to block out the name, but is this person right here. So could you please fill out that form that I have in the link below, please? But everyone else, you should be getting your, we'll be sending out those prizes today. So congratulations. Our show is sponsored by Meta 247. It is, they have ivermectin. Now, it takes about 2 weeks for you to receive it. I've had some inquiries about this. So it takes about 2 weeks for you to receive it. They do ship worldwide. And it's wonderful, right to your doorstep. So contact them. They do have a website with all the basic information on there. And the basic common why they choose us, the shipping and delivery, some of the facts that many typical questions people have. Here is an interview of Mel Gibson on the Joe Rogan show about ivermectin. And they have their pills. They're very transparent in their pricing, but for the different packages they have, it's as low as $1.38 a pill and up to $1.75 a pill. So contact them by going to our sponsor link below or going to meta247now.com. Okay. So I want to go over what happened yesterday and how the media and the liberals want to keep us focused on this. And there's many other things, many moving parts. But the Epstein file is a lot bigger than just names. Big things happened during this feud between Trump and Elon. Now the Democrats say they want the Epstein files. We kind of wanted them to say that. And Kash Patel has mentioned that he is ready to release them. We don't know when, so it could be days, weeks. We don't know when, but he's ready to release it. And I'm going to share in this podcast it's how big it is and why President Trump and his team have to time this just right. With 2025, President Trump and Elon Musk, they were exchanging very blunt and bold posts. But remember on June 2nd that on Sunday, the Delta was boom, 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 a week to remember, dark to light, blackout necessary. Again, I don't know what's going to be blacked out, but we did have a green White House this past week. But this is the Q post. So yes, it is a week to remember. We're never going to forget this. My gosh, we have the president of the free world and the leader, basically the leader of the world, posting like he's posting right now, and it's just so that there is a lot more moving parts to it, but wow. So just to kind of give you a summary, now the many Democrats are on board about releasing the Epstein files. Ted Lieu, he's now saying release the Epstein files. Dan Goldman, he's called for the full release of the Epstein files. Eric Swalwell, he has released the Epstein files. I'll share this one yesterday. Congressman Shri Thanedar, he's asking he's going to call Pam Bondi to release the Epstein files. And then, of course, we have the Democrats' X account, kill the bill and release the Epstein files. So let's address the post by the Democrats about killing the bill first. Okay, they forgot to reference that Joe Biden 2.0, the clone, whatever it is, body double, raised the debt by $8.4 trillion in just 4 years. And the one big beautiful bill raises the debt by $2.3 trillion in 10 years. So, and not one fake news media is talking about how Trump tariffs will far exceed the 2.3 in terms of revenues, will far exceed the 2.3 trillion in 10 years. So they're not talking about how the tariffs will offset the spending in the one big beautiful bill. So with all eyes on Trump and Elon Musk, I wrote that Musk, should be a K. A few things happened behind the scenes and some were pretty big. I know surfers and anons, you're kind of like probably just banging your head saying, what timeline are we in right now? So this is James Comer. He subpoenas the former Biden White House doctor, O'Connor, with questions. Now, this White House doctor was asked to come to Congress and he refused. So they gave him a subpoena. And in this article, it really doesn't talk about the finances. This is an OAN article. But what it does talk about is how now that Joe Biden 2.0 has prostate cancer, how is it that the doctor, Kevin O'Connor, didn't even reveal that? So they want to get to the bottom of that, and we'll see how that all plays out. The second big thing that happened while the feud was going on is Robert Kennedy requires medical schools to incorporate a nutrition course, or they risk losing federal funding. Imagine that. They've been pushing the use of drugs, pharmaceuticals, and Robert Kennedy is basically saying, teach them about good nutrition, and it would give people healthier bodies and healthier lives. Imagine if you're attending a medical school right now and you may end up having, maybe you're into your first year, you're going into your next year of it, and then suddenly they have a nutrition course, how it's going to change the whole scope of how the medical profession is going to roll out, which is going to be fantastic. We want this. We want natural remedies, not the pharmaceutical remedies. President Trump met with the Germany's Chancellor Merz, and this is what he had to say as part of the presser. This is on the presser side when they got to ask some questions, how he is the one who ended Nord Stream 2, and then he talks about oil, and listen to how big of a statement this is. There's two big things in here. Listen to this.
On Russia, are you willing to put more pressure on Putin to end the war by imposing new sanctions on Russia and also on China?
Well, remember, I'm the one that ended Nord Stream 2, going to a place called Germany, come to think of it. I'm sorry I did that. I don't know. But I ended Nord Stream 2. Nobody else did. And then when Biden came in, he immediately approved it. That's the largest, essentially the largest pipeline in the world, going to Germany and other countries. And by the way, we have so much oil and gas, you will not be able to buy it all. I mean, you literally, we have so much, and I hope we're going to make that a part of our trade deal because we have more than anybody else. We have actually the most by far in the world, probably double what anyone else has. So we'll work on that. I'm sure that's.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. Nord Stream 2, it's the largest natural gas pipeline between Russia and Germany and other countries. It shows that President Trump has worldwide powers. Then President Trump proceeds to say that they have so much oil you will not be able to buy it all. The stockpile of oil that President Trump has, remember how he's mentioned we have so much liquid gold under our feet when he talked about that. I always wondered if it was that gold, and many people say that is oil. You were advising me and correcting me, and I appreciate that. Again, I wonder if there's double meanings. But we have more than anyone else, so he is also letting the Middle Eastern countries know we have a lot of oil as well. So let's keep our relationship going. But those that are oil rich countries, he's pretty much saying we've got the upper hand when it comes to the oil. And we also have President Trump who's sporting silver hair. This ties into our sponsor, GOLDCO. GOLDCO is a precious metals IRA. They are a paid sponsor, but what they do is they take your IRA, a little bit of it or all of it or a part of it, and they convert it over to gold or silver. So contact GOLDCO by hitting the sponsor link below or going to santasurfinglikesgold.com. And check out what happened to silver. It broke $36 an ounce today. So this is a 1-year chart, but I'm just going to go to a 1-day chart. So at about 9 o'clock this morning, it broke 36, and now it's at, or 36.3. Now it's at around 36. It's going back up again. So wasn't he sending a message there? And remember, President Trump, he worked out a trade deal with China last month, but the details weren't released. And all he posted or shared with the world is that he had a very positive, long-awaited trade call with President Xi. Now, Anons and surfers, you all know that President Trump, President Xi, Putin, Kim Jong-un, Modi, they're all working together to take down their versions of deep states in their respective countries. And well, so, but this has to play out. So now we're looking at people that were, like, let's say they, one of the guys that wants the Epstein files released, how he had a Chinese, remember he had some contacts with China, how Nancy Pelosi's driver was a Chinese spy. How many other people are sitting there going, oh my gosh, she is now working with Trump, right? Again, optics, optics, optics. I already went through this in terms of the $8.4 trillion debt that Biden did add in 4 years, and to President Trump's $2.4 trillion in the spending bill for the One Big Beautiful Bill. And then WallE, I call him WallE, John Brennan, he's worried that intel agencies could become politicized under President Trump. No, AKA John Brennan and his cronies are not getting any more intel. Remember security clearances that got revoked earlier this year? And now they're beloved. And remember how we've got certain Congress people that are no longer sitting on committees. And now their beloved crooked agencies exposed by DOJ or presently investigated by DOJ are on the verge of their demise. And the U.S. aid, again, those funds are no more. So those funds, the leftover remaining funds that they had, are probably running dry. So they are very, very worried. And WallE, he's sitting there going, well, again, we know the real WallE got dealt with, but this WallE, he's sitting there going, oh man, oh man, oh man. And then this one's pretty big. Obama's Quiet Skies program, aka spying on ordinary citizens, it got terminated yesterday. Now, in my humble opinion, this is part of the Golden Dome era. The previous dirty government have violated our rights of privacy, and Trump and his team, they're working to give it back. Now, what is Quiet Skies? It is a program in which the federal air marshals follow and collect information on ordinary U.S. citizens in airports and on planes. Those followed are not on terrorist watch lists or suspected of crimes. About 35 people a day are being secretly surveilled by small teams of armed undercover air marshals. That is no more. Bye-bye. So right now it's kind of simmered down, and there were some talks about the White House having a call with Elon, but I guess that's not going to happen now. Elon did say he was going to decommission a part of his program, but then he said he wasn't going to. Again, it's just how things are playing out for the Anons and the surfers. This is part of the movie we really never expected at all. It was not on my bingo card, but now we're going to see the fallout. So the fallout of releasing the Epstein list, it could really truly have a tidal wave effect, because big banks and one judge for right now, there could be others, big name people are involved. The president has to time the release of this very carefully. The crimes that these people did, the actual ones, they are horrid. The crimes that the banks and the entities or the media hid, that's just horrific. The profits the big banks made on turning a blind eye to human abuse crimes just so that they can go ahead and do their money laundering for Epstein is just unforgivable. So this is just a thread on some of the big names and other entities involved in the Epstein criminal activities. JP Morgan and Deutsche. Let me open it up. So I'm just going to read the headlines. This is coming from the Daily Mail, and this is the headline that they had, and this is back in 2023. The pervert and the bankers were bosses at JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank, so hungry to cash in on Jeffrey Epstein's mega rich cronies that they turned a blind eye to his sex trafficking. 2 new court cases will address the explosive question. That's when the Virgin Islands sued Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan, and then eventually Deutsche settled. JP Morgan, they profited from the Jeffrey Epstein crimes. The lawsuit states, actually it's back in 2022. And then remember Judge Reinhardt, he is the judge that signed off on the raid. He is the one that Mar-a-Lago, I will just say the burglary, because there was no reason to raid, but he was the one that signed off on the Mar-a-Lago raid. The FBI essentially wanted to get information to see what would implicate them and all of their swamp buddies, and they even planted evidence in there and planted so that again they were planting stuff to make it look like Trump was doing some bad things. But he represented, so the Judge Reinhardt, who signed off on the FBI raid on Trump's Mar-a-Lago mansion, donated $2,000 to Obama campaign and represented Epstein's pilot, his scheduler, and a Yugoslavian sex slave. Kevin Spacey is allegedly on the Epstein list. Here he is with Piers Morgan last year, crying about being broke and losing everything. Check.
Where do you live now?
Well, it's funny you asked that question, because this week, where I have been living in Baltimore, is being foreclosed on. My house is being sold at auction.
Really?
So I have to go back to Baltimore and put all my things in storage.
Really?
So the answer to that question is, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to live now, but I've been in Baltimore for since we started shooting House of Cards there.
So how long is that?
I moved there in 2012.
So this has been your home for 12 years?
Well, not this particular place, but this place has been my home and Evan and Lucy's home since 2016.
Why is it being foreclosed?
Because I can't pay the bills that I owe.
Are you facing bankruptcy?
Been a couple of times when I thought I was going to file, but we've managed to sort of dodge it, at least as of today.
How much money do you have?
None.
Really?
Well, I mean, you have some sense of legal bills.
Yeah.
I still owe a lot of legal bills that
You're
I have not been able to pay.
You're actually in debt.
Yes.
Do you mind me asking how much you owe?
It's considerable.
Millions?
Many millions, yes. The house itself is many millions.
What are you going to do?
Get back on the horse. Get back on the horse.
That's a big sign that assets got seized from people that have committed human abuse crimes. Again, it was Kevin Spacey going out there doing the media circuit with Piers Morgan so that it can reveal just how bad it is for him. Will we be seeing more like this, right? Now, going back to the effects. And then remember, we have Bill Gates, who claimed it was foolish for him to spend any time with Jeffrey Epstein.
It was foolish to spend any time with him, and he sort of, got time with various people by spending time with other people. So yes, I think I was quite stupid.
Just last month, Elon Musk was at one of these video conferences, and this is what he had to say about Bill Gates.
I do want to ask you about US aid and the comments that Bill Gates made the other day, and I know that you called him...
Yeah, he's a huge liar.
I know, you've said that already. I wondered...
Also,
and I'm just...
Who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, well...
Elon Musk is red pilling the liberals, the media, everyone. The liberals are now looking into Elon Musk. They sold their Teslas. Now they want to get their Teslas back. They love him again. And now what are they going to do? They're going to search on anything Elon Musk said, and they're going to hear stuff like this, right? And then we have a News Nation that was talking about many names will come out of the Epstein list. And he even mentions former presidents. Listen to this.
We're here outside the federal courthouse here in Lower Manhattan, and this is where Judge Loretta Preska has ordered that January 1st release date of more than 170 names associated with a civil lawsuit that was settled some time ago here. But many of those names that will be released are Jeffrey Epstein's close friends, associates, and some of his victims. Now, the judge is also allowing those individuals who would like to keep their names concealed or redacted to file an appeal to make their case before the release of those names in less than 2 weeks. Now, many of those names that will come out certainly are known and notable, including former presidents, but they are all part of a now settled civil lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell brought by Virginia Giuffre. We're here outside the federal courthouse here in Lower Manhattan.
Okay, so he did say former presidents, right? And here is Alina Habba, who talks about the repercussions of what will happen to when the full Epstein files are released. She talks about that arrests will happen.
Be accountability.
And we know that only one person so far has actually gone to prison over that whole scandal. It was Ghislaine Maxwell, the former lover of Jeffrey Epstein. No man so far has actually been put in prison as a result of what happened. Do you think by releasing information from these files, we are likely to see criminal actions being taken?
Absolutely.
Really?
I think it would be negligent for us not to. You have to hold individuals who are indeed rapists accountable. We have to have them tried, in my opinion. And I do believe in that. You know, nobody should be just dismissed. You have to have your time in court and your case will be heard. But to hide lists, to protect political friends, all of that, we don't have time for that.
So Alina just confirmed the political fallout will be pretty big. And it's everything that you have been talking about for years is now finally coming out. The vindication. Well done, Anons. Because JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank, they went ahead and, Deutsche settled out of court with the victims. And JP Morgan, there was one particular person that was a part of it. So he had to work out his deal. But then JP Morgan and that executive from JP Morgan were fighting with each other. There's something even bigger in play, which is the Clinton Foundation. It plays a very big factor. Is not just the Epstein name's going to come out, but will it have ties to Haiti and what happened, what Clinton Foundation did about collecting billions and billions of dollars and only giving 5% of those donations to Haiti when she promised most of it would go to Haiti. So it's going to play a very big factor. She was the Secretary of State. And during that time, she was working out, she had the Clinton Foundation open and working out all kinds of deals with different kinds of foreign leaders, pay for play, much more. Loser Barry ended up paying the debt for prior to him leaving the office. This is what was posted by Q94 on November 5th of 2017. And Anon says, if she's not, I think they're gunning for her. How can she repay the money sent to Clinton Foundation for influence? Do they have Huma? And this is what Cube responded with. Review my other threads. This is why complete graphics are so important. BO, Barack Obama, paid the debt prior to leaving office. HRC is not currently in SA. Bill wants a deal, playing the former president card. Watch the cookie quickly crumble. So where does Soros fit in Godfather 3? Okay, so we know that big things are in the works. Big things have to happen. But when this fallout happens, is it going to tie in with the end of, let's say, the Diddy trial? So, just kind of combine them all together. And then we can start rolling with greatness for our country, right? Just letting people know that this is really big. Now, the connection runs deep. The media, they're not reporting about the crimes against humanity. Is it because that they're also very well connected and a huge part of the swamp? This is a post about crimes against humanity. It has no correlation. I didn't connect any dots. I was just looking for something that would have crimes against humanity. This is a post by a liberal reporter screaming about Trump. And then it says, those with the most to lose are the loudest. So we're going to start hearing that. Those who knowingly broke the law in coordinated efforts, treason, are the most vocal. Crimes against humanity. Look at this. This is another Q post. Q3954, one big happy family, the Democrat Party and mainstream media. This is just some, not all. So you have Susan Rice and Ian Cameron. And then you've got Tom Nides and Virginia Mosley, Valerie Jarrett, Laura Jarrett. So there, again, you got a politician and a reporter. The connection runs really deep. And over here, Q says missing 29 connections national, missing 98 connections local. So there's still so many other types of connections very similar to this. And this is part of the reason why the fake news, liberal media nutheads aren't going to talk a lot about this. They don't even want to get involved. They don't want to get near any of this because is it going to expose their loved ones, their buddy, their sister, their brother, whoever they have some kind of relation with? I've shared this before, but I'll share it again because I know I have some new viewers. This is Amy Robach. This is a report from Project Veritas where they got a hot mic moment from Amy Robach from ABC and how she knew about the Epstein client list years ago and the horrific crimes. And, well, she didn't report any of those crimes. She just wanted the story.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton. We had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal. Other women backing it up. Hey, yep. Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. And I had it all 3 years ago.
Did she even have any kind of concern about, we've got to report this, we have got to start making some noise, we've got to start taking some action? She didn't. So let's remember to stay very focused. Many, many things are in the works. Moving parts are in the works. The media would love to keep us distracted from what is to come. Remember, there's still the Letitia James, the James Comey, the Andrew Cuomo investigation. We have the AutoPen gate. We have many, many, many things that are going on in the works. And now you've got James Comer, who subpoenaed Biden's doctor. So we'll see where that goes. But whatever happened to the AutoPen gate, that kind of got squashed, right? Those AutoPen crooks, they're hoping that that story about AutoPen gets swept under the rug with the feud that's going on with President Trump, or that did happen with President Trump and Elon Musk. So please, please stay focused. But I will say this, I stand with Trump. Trump took a bullet for us. He gave up his billionaire lifestyle for us. He got wrongfully prosecuted and persecuted. He was fighting for us, including all of those TDS liberals that haven't a clue why he's fighting for us. Trump promises us prosperity, the Golden Dome, Golden Age era. No other president has ever promised any of that. And we know that he's still working with Elon Musk to roll out the even bigger part of greatness that's on the way. So I'm just giving you my 2 cents on how I feel about President Trump, because he's made many sacrifices along the way. So today we have another Delta, June 6th Delta, and it's pretty important. It's kind of giving us a message because earlier last weekend, there were Deltas coming out about staying united. But it's important for us to really stay united and prepare for whatever invisible or visible battles that are going to come our way. This is a very revealing Q post. The armor of God. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of the dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything to stand firm. Then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the sword of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people. Have faith in humanity, have faith in yourself, have faith in God, the great awakening. So this tells me what is coming out is going to be another battle. It tells me that this is not over yet, but that there might be something that will come out. Again, you're probably saying, oh man, Santa, I am so tired. Take a break. Just check out of social media, just replenish yourself, rejuvenate yourself, get back on track, because we're going to need all hands on deck with all the things, the moving parts, all the things that are not being talked about right now. And will those all start to surface, and will it be swift and quick, like Hugh had mentioned in the past? So hang tight, know that God's got this. And while we remember, we've been fighting for the children for the very moment that you all got on the keyboard and became big time you became keyboard warriors, yeah? You've been fighting for the children. It was always about the children. President Trump came into office, especially for the first term, because of the children. As certain files gets exposed, many might be painful. Please remember to pray for the children that survived the horrible crimes of surviving an Epstein situation or a Diddy situation or other types of situations. They're out there. They're still hurting. We need to ask for God's grace and peace in their hearts and to continue to pray for them. They may not want to reveal who they are. You might be listening to this and saying, I was a victim. It may not have been with those two big names, but it was somewhere else. And I do have a heavy heart, and nobody believes me. We'll just to remember, we've been fighting for you. And now we want you to eventually, you'll have your voice heard at some point. You may have the strength to put out your own podcast and explain what happened, because you've been rejected so many times. Don't let that stop you from getting your truth out. But we'll continue to pray for the victims of the children and the victims that got hurt from all of these horrible crimes. We're beginning to see the end game for this particular part of the movie, and we'll see how the aftermath, what happens with entities, with people, with just big names and big corporations that will eventually start to have to pay the wrath. They have to face the wrath of God. But thank you so much for your fight to save the children and save these innocent young lives and victims that have been suffering and haven't had a voice. And you were there fighting with them and for them the entire time. I really thank you so much. God bless you so abundantly. I wish you a beautiful day, a beautiful weekend, and I will have a show soon. Aloha.